My wife, Vanessa, and I have been married for 4 years. Vanessa is a stay-at-home wife. Okay, so yesterday, my boss told me that he had an offer for me. They have this really important client coming up, and we had to design a very specific product for them. Since I've been working here for a very long time, he wanted me to train 2 teams to do the work. So for this, I have to stay back at the office for 2 shifts continuously, which is like 15 hours a day for 2 weeks. My boss said that if I successfully finished training both the teams within 2 weeks, I'd get a 30% salary hike. That's about $2,000 a month. So I asked Vanessa if she'd manage everything at home for 2 weeks so that I could get this salary hike. We've had a cash crunch recently because of buying a new house, so this would be immensely helpful. Managing everything at home would mean doing my share of the chores, including cooking and laundry. I'd only have enough time to come home and sleep. I'd be eating at the office canteen every day for breakfast and lunch. She'd just have to cook dinner for me. She refused, saying that it was too much work. She knows that I cannot afford a housekeeper right now, and that's why I asked her to manage everything. So I told her to go stay with her parents for 2 weeks, and I'm staying at a really cheap motel. Near the motel, we get extremely cheap food at the small shop next to it. I'm also sharing a room with 7 other guys. She's mad at me now, and her parents have been calling me to say that I'm neglecting their daughter. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. So your wife doesn't work, and you still do the cooking and laundry? Being a stay-at-home wife means that all chores fall to her. It is all hers if she doesn't work outside of the house, and there are no kids. I get it when you have kids, but I don't really get it when you don't. That's probably an unpopular opinion, but that just sounds straight up lazy to me, unless you have extenuating circumstances that prevent her from working. Yeah, this is not a situation where she has kids to raise. If one person is home full-time, they can have dinners made, and the house is sparkling every day by noon. This isn't the 1850s. She doesn't have to collect wood for the fire, scrub the clothes on a washboard, and put them through the mangler. Heck, even working 40 to 50 hours a week, it would be no problem to look after a household of 2 adults for 2 weeks. She is not a stay-at-home wife. She's a stay-at-home leech. If she can't even help you in something that will improve both of your lives, then something is very wrong here. Do not have children with this woman. If a 40-hour work week is too much stress and she can't take care of the house, much less than 40 hours for 2 people, she absolutely will be terrible with the 18-year commitment of children. You're setting yourself up for a life of misery and/or early divorce with child support payments if you don't sort this out now. She doesn't have to agree to anything. Do what you need to do for work and that's it. If the laundry goes undone or there's no home-cooked meal, whatever, you won't starve in 2 weeks. I'm amazed at people who think the whole house will immediately go down the drain if every single regular chore isn't done on time. You are both idiots. There was no need for you to stay at a hotel unless you prefer that, or just to be petty. It wasn't necessary just because she didn't agree with your plan. That is the part that lost me. Is the wife with her parents? OP should be staying at the house to save money. I know not everyone knows how to cook, but surely he can manage a sandwich or microwave meal at night for 2 weeks. The wife is definitely an idiot, but it sounds like OP is one if he can't manage to feed himself for 2 weeks. He wants to stay in a room with 7 grown-ups because he can't care for himself for 2 weeks. He doesn't want to pay utilities/housekeeper, so he's paying to stay somewhere else, but he's stretched for cash. He can't go 2 weeks without house cleaning, so he's staying in a room with 7 people. You guys are weirdos. You're going to have a few hard weeks at the office, and the solution is you both leave the house? You guys are both idiots. I, female 27, and my now husband 29, got married a couple of months ago, but planning for the holidays this year brought up some past troubles we had regarding how to welcome children at our events. We planned our wedding originally for 2020, but when that didn't happen, we had to reschedule and re-invite for summer 2021. We originally had no plans for a child-free wedding. My siblings have kids. His siblings have kids. Most of our cousins have kids. So it was going to be a big family event with no one excluded. However, after the re-invites, most of my child-having extended family couldn't make it anymore. The guest list of the family just kept shrinking and shrinking. So my husband and I decided to redo the list entirely and invite some other friends we had locally who weren't in the first round of invites. Some of them are childless, some are child-free, and some do have kids. As plans changed and the party shrunk, my sister said she would send her kids to their dads for the weekend so she could stay later and party with us, and my brother was still planning to bring his kids, 2 male teenagers. The night of the wedding, we had most of our guest list show up. I was worried about it, but surprised because I was afraid of having a half-empty house for my wedding and all that food going to waste. No one brought kids, but I didn't think much of it at the time. The party went on until its scheduled end, and it was a great time. The problem: my husband's brother and his wife have 2 small kids, male and female toddlers. They were the only kids there, so the kids didn't have anyone to play with, no new family to meet or mingle with, and needed to be sat with or entertained the whole night. Mother-in-law accosted me the following day at brunch about there not being any other kids there and family events, and about how if she had known more about my values, she would have put a stop to this wedding from the beginning. She said my sister sending her kids away was the wrong move, and if she knew it would be a wild and crazy child-free frat party, that her whole family would have just boycotted. I told her I had no idea what she was talking about, how it wasn't child-free on purpose, and it most certainly wasn't redesigned to be a frat party, and that I couldn't control whether my friends brought their kids. We talked about the issue, and I thought it was resolved. Still, last week when we started talking about Thanksgiving and Christmas, a lot of passive-aggressive comments were thrown around about Thanksgiving kids' tables and whether they should do the kids' gifts before going to the grandparents' house for Christmas dinner. I told them that I'd be sure to tell my sister that her kids are invited to the holidays, just in case there was any confusion, and it just brought the fight up again. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, but with a mother-in-law like that, good luck to you. Where is your husband in all of this? He should be shutting this nonsense down. Why on earth is it your job to make sure there are enough children for them to play with, especially in such a global situation? Honestly, your partner needs to speak to their family and get this under control. Not the idiot. Toddlers would need an adult watching them the whole night, regardless of if there were other children at the event. Did they think they could just pawn their kids off on someone else during the event? Your husband needs to make it clear to his mother that she needs to drop this. Not the idiot. Seriously? They blame you because they did not have a play date for the kids and other parents complained? They were just jealous to be stuck with their kids when other adults enjoyed themselves carefree. And your mother-in-law just wanted to blame you for something. If there were kids, she would complain about their behavior. It's a long story, but my boyfriend started encountering visa problems in this country. I've even considered paying someone to marry for documents so it wouldn't get weird between us. I decided it was best for us to do the deed, get him a work permit and some security, and we wouldn't have to worry about a third person in the relationship. Nor did we have to fake anything. We were living together, building a life together, going out, pictures, the works. It was like a marriage in all but paper. A while after signing the paper, I caught him flirting with other girls. For days. Girls he had been with before. He might as well have betrayed me physically. I don't know. He had a habit of telling me I was getting fat and doing criticism, saying he's not good at compliments. I frankly received more compliments from strangers than my boyfriend, but he always said he just wanted me to be the best version of myself and that he's cold like that. He was anything but cold in the beginning. I suspected he found other girls more attractive than me and begged him to please be upfront with me and not cheat. Instead, he swore on his mom and made me feel bad for believing he would cheat. When I found out, he lost his mind. He started begging for me not to leave him, started getting technical and saying that it's not cheating, that's just stupid texting. I asked him if he was worried about losing me or the documents and how he could be so stupid to risk this, and ungrateful. He turned it on me, saying I chose to marry and he wouldn't have had problems with the other person he'd pay. I told him nobody forced him to stop acting like I wasn't more convenient and saving him a good amount of money when I did that. I said I would no longer help him. He's been texting me that I will ruin his life now and his family's. He asked me to see that he made a stupid mistake and not cheating, and he hadn't gone back on his promise. He was calling me a monster for wanting to hurt him. I'm hurt. I found an ex cheating before the exact same way, and my boyfriend knew it and still did it. He used my past experience to tell me I'm damaged, and damaged us with my suspicions, when truly my suspicions happened because he couldn't find one good word to say to me, calling it his character. I'm resentful that I made excuses for him to this point. Am I the idiot for wanting to break away? Not the idiot. You're being used, and I have a feeling he only mentioned paying someone so that you would take the hint and do it for free. Learn your very hard lesson and move on. Also, the only person that ruined his life is him. OP, divorce him, and if you honestly feel he was using you for immigration papers, report it to the immigration office. Explain that you were in a genuine relationship as far as you knew, but he was texting others almost as soon as the ink was dry, and you feel you may have been used. This will protect you in an investigation. Of course he was using you to defraud immigration and bring his family over. To add insult to injury, he's trying to do it for free because there are still women out there who are willing to accept payment for a paper marriage. He's still around because he wants to save a buck and have you go through with it for free. Then when your legal responsibilities are over, he would have left you for someone else. And guess what? Then he gets to stay, and you're out years of your life. Dump him. He is no longer your problem. Girlfriend and I have been together for 10 years, never married due to commitment issues on her part. She conceived using donor sperm, and while the child is biologically and legally hers alone, I've been raising the child together since day one. The child will have a birthday soon. We both work full-time and split the expenses, but I do the lion's share of chores if it matters. Again, she used a donor because of her commitment issues. She wanted the child to be solely hers, so that there would be no legal battles over custody should we break up. The problem is, as the child grows, she becomes increasingly protective. By protective, I mean she doesn't let me use common parenting methods, like natural consequences and setting boundaries. Everything I try to do, she undermines or undoes it. This is not what we agreed upon before having the child. We took parenting classes, read books, and attended workshops. Now it seems she has thrown all of that out of the window. Our child can do whatever she wants, eats only jelly beans for breakfast, if she so fancies, stays up past midnight if she wants to play. Of course, that is not healthy. She's doodled on my work laptop, and my girlfriend wouldn't even let me sit her down to explain why it's wrong. In short, she doesn't say no, doesn't teach the child right from wrong, and doesn't let me do it. The kindergarten teachers have already complained a ton about behavior issues and suggested we have our child evaluated, which we did. The specialist gave us some insightful advice that girlfriend chose to ignore because she believes her child is perfect. She's actively preventing me from carrying out that advice, setting a schedule, limiting sugary foods, etc. I tried to sit my girlfriend down for a serious talk, more times than I cared to count. She doesn't see a problem. I suggested therapy and went alone because my girlfriend thinks the only one having a problem is me. The child picked up on that and thinks I'm the bad guy in the house. I wanted to try harder because I love the child, even if she's not mine biologically. But today I overheard my girlfriend tell her that I still need to earn the parent title, and I broke. I pulled her aside and told her I could never be the child's parent because she wouldn't let me. Now she's mad, accusing me of trying to abandon our child and giving me the cold shoulder. I think I'm the idiot because while I didn't say it in front of the child, she's an intelligent kid and picks up things pretty fast. I think I've let her down. Dude, why are you still with this person? She doesn't want to be a committed partner or a co-parent with you. She doesn't want you to parent her child. She insists she is only hers, not yours, to the extreme extent that she used a donor. Just leave and find someone who will actually let you into their life. You're an idiot to yourself by living like this. How on earth did this guy let it slide when 3 years in, his long-term girlfriend said she was having a kid, but that she was using a donor, so it wasn't his child? When these two break up, this poor kid is going to wonder why her dad upped and left her when her mom wouldn't let him see her because she's not biologically his. This is one of the messiest stories I've seen. You are not the idiot, but please leave her and get a lawyer to sort out custody because after basically raising her as your own for 6 years, surely you'd have a right to guardianship. It's not his daughter. It never will be. This isn't even his girlfriend. He's a warm body this woman uses, so she doesn't feel lonely. Why he stayed after she got a donor, I have no idea. Have some self-respect, OP. This woman betrayed you then and doesn't respect you now. OP being in this situation is his doing because he should have left long ago. Leave. Leave and start a real family, especially if she doesn't even have you listed as the father. Let her see what it's really like to have no dad in the picture. I, teen female, lost my mom when I was a little girl. My sister was a toddler at the time, and my brother was a few months old. Our dad met my stepmom about a year later, started dating her 6 months after they met. It was a thing for single parents. She had 2 kids who were close in age to my siblings. After they got married, things were fine at first, and then they wanted to adopt each other's kids. Her kid was excited, as were my siblings, but I did not want to be adopted. This wasn't made into a huge deal, but they quizzed me on why and tried to figure out if they could change my mind. They weren't able to, and I know this hurt her feelings. Over the years, it was let go. They adopted the other kids and everyone was happy. Or so I thought. It made them unhappy that I said no to the adoption, and my siblings have wondered why I didn't want to be adopted too. I love my stepmom. I get along with her really well. I think she's great, but I don't love her the same as I love my mom or dad. It's different with her. Not bad, just not as close. And that for me was reason enough not to be adopted. But there's also the fact that I don't want my mom's name erased from everything. I know they're not trying to replace her, but if I'm adopted, her name is no longer the legal name I put down. It doesn't change biology, but it makes my stepmom my mom, and no matter how much I care about her, I just don't want her to be my mom in all official senses of the word. It has come up again because they offered the adoption again, and my answer was the same. My dad decided we needed to go to therapy, the 3 of us, and the therapist told them they couldn't therapy me into agreeing. My stepmom said it's not about that for her. She just wants to know what she did wrong and why I'm opposed. My dad said he feels like I'm holding back, and he said there's unhappiness with the fact that I kept myself on the outside by not becoming a more official part of the family unit. It bothers me, but part of me feels bad that this is something that makes them so unhappy. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. No one can dictate what your feelings are. Good for the therapist for saying that. I can see where the stepmom is coming from with her "what have I done wrong" thing, but she doesn't have to have done anything wrong. You can't help how you feel. That therapist is awesome, and it sounds like dad and stepmom are the ones that need therapy to help them deal. OP is right in that the adoption changes and erases everything of her mom. OP will get a new birth certificate with stepmom as her parent. My kids have been adopted by their stepfather, and while I kept their bio dad's name in their name, he isn't on their birth certificate and has no legal responsibility to them anymore. In their case, he's still alive. Agreed. It also seems like they're either not listening or OP needs to clarify but is too confused on how to explain and word it to them. They don't understand what she's going through since her younger siblings never went through the transition of their mom dying and then dad replacing her and already trying to erase her from her life and history. Since the younger siblings were super young, they don't have a history with their biological mom, so they sadly won't understand. OP, I'm glad the therapist is on your side.